The idea that there was a period when music had the power to not only soothe the savage breast, but to control the elements, the environment, was a normal human intuition for countless eons. In the electronic age, it is no longer a mythic dream. The possibility of tuning or programming the entire universe is back. It is here. We can do it.
The McLuhan program is meant to continue the work of Marshall McLuhan, and McLuhan's job was to identify the impact of technology on culture. We are like searchers. We are like noses for what's happening.
So when you draw any profile here, any profile which comes to your mind, and any section, and you press the send button, the creature will swim in the pool. Let's make just a tube, for example. Then you press here.
Okay.
There it is.
The big one here.
Right.
We're interested in artists exploring technology. We feel that when an artist is exploring a technology, he or she is telling us about something that's going on. The real meaning of art exploring technology is art bridging technology and psychology. The role of art is to connect the effect of the technology to the tarriness of the psychology. How to update the collective psychology to the new situation created by the technology.
Marshall was definitely a genius, and it's wonderful to see the work that he and Harold Innis opened up being continued by the McLuhan program.
Robots. I've been building robots for a long time, I guess since my early days at art college. I must have built at least 20 or 25 robots at this time. Right now I have Wilma the robot, which is a human-sized robot which can link in from somewhere else in the world. Someone else can control Wilma from around halfway across the world. I have Fred the robot, which is a tiny version of Wilma. I've got panoramic photography robots. I've got little tiny mini robots, sumo wrestling robots. I got lots and lots of robots.
I still didn't really finish McLuhan and even understanding media, still, but I know what Guy was talking about. And then I value him because he think like a crab, sideways. Yeah, and he think basically in collage. He think basically in the term of gestalt to gestalt to gestalt, like Chinese ideogram, And he's basically instinctively a linear thinker.
Tim, it's Graham Smith here.
Hey, Graham, how are you doing?
I've been involved in video conferencing in a large degree ever since the McLuhan program got their video conferencing unit 2 years ago.
Listen, next time you're in California, you got to call me.
I started something called the Virtual Cafe, which uses video conferencing to bring lectures from all over the world, people like Timothy Leary.
The message, of course, is electricity, light. That's the medium. And the glory of the 21st century, which Marshall understood.
We've done things on cybersex. We've done things on the role of head-mounted displays. We've given virtual reality demonstrations, all sorts of issues. And it's got a big following and is a big success. And I think a large part of that success has to do with video conferencing, which to me is the true new media of the 90s. Thank you, Tim, for coming in and talking to us. And goodbye from the Virtual Cafe.
Tripod? You don't have a tripod, do you?
No. All right, Graham, how you doing?
Hey, man, good. I'm using
linked up in the end of 1994 with the Electronic Cafe and with a man named Dan McVeigh, and together we proposed an idea at the Electronic Cafe to send Wilma the robot to picket the White House, basically, because I see Wilma as a kind of electronic soapbox.
Nice to meet you.
Now all we gotta do is kiss a baby.
See you later.
And this is a video conferencing system, and you're now live in Las Vegas at Comdex computer show.
Who am I speaking to?
This is Sherry, and this is Pinty. Sing it, boy.
land of the brave, home of the free. Don't want to be upset by no bourgeoisie, cause it's the bourgeois town.
The Electronic Cafe was set up in Las Vegas at Comdex. They could then control Wilma on the streets of Washington, interact with people, talk to them, ask questions, get questions back. We had people giving slam poetry readings from New York City through Wilma onto the streets of Washington. We had people on the streets of Washington, D.C. serenading Wilma the robot. So it was a crazy project, highly stressful, but in the end, Senator Pobot played a big role at Comdex 94.
The World Series is using video conferencing as a tool for extending the classroom. In all cases, we try to bring the relevant information of the best people speaking in their own language to their own students, listening to them in their own language. We translate at this end. Video conferencing is much more than just a voice. You can't say you meet anybody on the phone, but you can say you've met somebody when you've met somebody by video conferencing. That's like, you know, that's the proof of that pudding is in the eating. I think we're moving from an era of technology which was principally involved with extending the body to one which is principally involved in extending the mind. As more and more computers come in the private homes of people, they somehow split the unity of the television world and create individual relationship between screens and people. That's a big difference. Suddenly you become the producer. You're not just a consumer. I think the internet and network communication are bigger than television and computers put together. Computers accelerate our own minds. That's their first job. Once you put computers on networks with telephones, then you accelerate your mind to the speed of the collective mind. And these are many different kinds of collective minds. What we're trying to find out are what are the form of minds, live, active minds, that are now available, and how do we describe these? I think what's going to happen now, what's already happening now, is a form of synergy of human intelligence assisted by machine that can create problem-solving conditions that we have never known before. So that we're dealing with thought now. We're dealing with these extensions of our thought, multiplication, accelerations of our thought, collectivization of our thought, multiplication of our individual thinking into synergy. All that stuff is giving us a form of power. Technically and economically, we have today the means to make people live in harmony with each other. We can do what we want. Our biggest problem is to know what we want. And now that we are thinking, and now that our machines are helping us to think, isn't it obvious that we have to believe in this proper thinking, that we have actually to start taking our own resources and abilities seriously? It's extremely important to bring out the obvious. I'm not wishful thinking. I'm just saying, it's there. Let's do it.